Now on CoastTV News.
A boost in public safety in Ellendale, camera considerations still on the table. Firehouse staff shortages across Delaware a problem one man calls an epidemic.
It's a cold Friday evening across Delmarva as temperatures are falling through the 30s. More cold weather this weekend, maybe some flurries Saturday night, more sunshine on Sunday. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Keeping an eye on security, the camera debate in Ellendale. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with a plan to install security cameras. Ellendale town leaders are trying to figure out how to move forward with a plan to put security cameras on Delmarva power poles. According to town leaders, the town received a $100,000 grant to move the project forward, but the installation hasn't been so simple. Town leaders say they now face a March deadline to use the money or they're going to lose the money. CoastTV News reporter Nicole Richter shows us the solutions that are being considered.
This is one of the 8 spots where Ellendale wants to put up security cameras. They say the goal is to improve safety.
Surveillance is key.
However, from previous reports, town officials were told by Delmarva Power that they cannot attach the cameras to those poles.
All that surveillance, that cuts down on the crime. You know you're being watched, you're less likely to do what you shouldn't be doing.
Town officials previously said the gunman in a deadly shooting could have been tracked down faster if they had more surveillance equipment in town. The cameras the town plans to use would look like this, providing a 270-degree view and the ability to see up to 15 meters in each direction.
I think it would probably help people feel safer. I mean, that's kind of psychological, but I would just look to data in other places where they installed cameras.
According to town leaders, the intersections would be spread out so the police department can see anyone entering or exiting the town. But not everyone agrees with that plan. One person we talked to says they should focus on installing cameras in areas with higher crime rates. Town officials are expected to discuss the future of the project at their meeting on January 7th. Until then, all the community can do is wait to see how police will watch in the future. From previous reports, the town had originally said they thought about putting up their own poles next to the Delmarva Power ones, but we reached out to the town today for any updates and they declined to comment. In Ellendale, I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
Ellendale isn't the only Sussex County community considering cameras for safety. Other areas, including Rehoboth Beach, have already installed cameras in busy downtown locations. That happened last year. Meanwhile, town leaders in Laurel are working to install their own network of security cameras using grant funding. When you need them, you need them. Firefighters protect your home, but all across the state, Delaware facing a volunteer firefighter shortage. The Delaware State Fire School's annual report shows year over year, 486 fewer people took classes at fire school. Fire departments in Sussex County do have paid staff, but the majority are volunteers. President of the Millsboro Fire Company, Ron O'Neill, calls the shortage a statewide epidemic.
Just having the number of people who show up to a fire. It's bad all over the state. Newcastle County is probably a little bit worse than we are.
Millsboro firefighters say that they are always looking for volunteers and will always be there to answer the call. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what worries you most about a volunteer firefighter shortage. Let's take a look at the results so far. Here's what we've got. Slower response time. That is the huge leader here, 72%. Home fire risk, nobody saying that yet. EMS delays, overworked volunteers getting 18%. And we do have a comment here in from Ocean View. Volunteerism is wonderful and commendable. However, perhaps the time has come to pay for these professional services. If you haven't voted yet, you still can on coasttvnews.com or use the mobile app. Taking a live look into Dover right now as we check in on our Friday night weather with First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey.
Good evening, Charlie. Certainly has been a cold start to 2026 today, no exception. We only topped out in the mid-30s with all those clouds. Now temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark with some blue skies. 31 Millsboro and Longneck, 34 in Lewis, 31 in Gumboro. Thankfully, the winds are calm, so we don't have to talk about brutal wind chills, as it feels like temperatures pretty much the same as the actual temperatures. And on radar, it's indicating snow, but it's just too dry for that. We are seeing some blue skies breaking through as we have high pressure in place right now. But there is a system across the Tennessee Valley that will slide to our south as we go through tomorrow and give us some chance of flurries tomorrow night, but not this evening, with partly cloudy skies and temperatures falling through the 20s. So make sure you bundle up. We'll be into the mid-20s by 4 a.m. Very cold weather continues into the weekend. More sunshine for Sunday and maybe some flurries. More in your forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Bob. Salisbury drivers will soon pay a price for trying to beat the traffic light at some of the city's busiest intersections. Starting Monday, drivers caught running red lights by newly installed cameras, they're going to be mailed a citation with a $75 fine. Money from those fines will be reinvested into road safety. The city says the cameras along Route 13 and 50 are in areas that show a long history of red light violations in Salisbury. In health news, Tidal Health says due to a rapid increase in flu and other respiratory illness across Delmarva, a temporary masking mandate is effective immediately at all Tidal Health locations. That includes Tidal Health Peninsula Regional, Tidal Health Nanticoke, and Atlantic General Hospital. All visitors will be asked to wear a mask upon entry, and all staff must wear a mask in patient-facing areas. This 30 acres of land called the 4th Street Preserve, looking to become a model for other areas. In September, the city of Lewis officially acquired the land after it was at risk of development. According to project leaders, there are plans to have walking trails and a few pedestrian bridges built over ditches, and that the project emphasizes education through nature.
That's all part of this being the first urban community forest in Delaware, is that we can study and come up with ideas of the best techniques to use for other areas for preservation. So hopefully there will be other communities within the state that mimic what we're doing here in Lewis.
While Ford says the overall project is a 10 to 20 year plan, the educational and recreational experience, that's underway now. A war of words escalating between the United States and Iran after President Trump posted on social media overnight about the economic protests happening there. As NBC's Melanie Zanona reports, tensions come as the White House juggles a handful of conflicts on the global stage in the new year.
President Trump says the U.S. is ready to step in if peaceful protesters are killed in the ongoing unrest in Iran, posting on social media overnight that the U.S. is locked and loaded. Economic protests erupted Sunday in the capital as inflation in the Islamic Republic soars and as the country's currency hits a record low. The country's nuclear program was part of the agenda during talks earlier this week between Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump pledging to support an Israeli attack against Iran.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening.
In an interview with Fox News after the talks, Netanyahu said Iran has yet to cross the line when it comes to rebuilding their nuclear capabilities, warning about the consequences of escalation.
We don't seek escalation. I hope they don't. But if they do, all bets are off.
Outside the Middle East, Trump is ramping up the pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, hitting a docking facility Monday in the first land strike in his campaign against alleged drug traffickers. In an interview with state media Thursday, Maduro avoided questions about that strike.
Aquí en Venezuela tiene un pueblo hermano.
Leaving the door open for negotiations, calling the U.S. and Venezuela brother countries. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, a New Year's Day drone strike in the Russian-occupied village of Kherson killed 24 people, according to the Kremlin. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky remained optimistic in his New Year's address, telling his country that a peace agreement is 90% ready, but the remaining 10% will determine the fate of Ukraine and Europe.
And President Trump is weighing the impact of global tariffs,
potentially delaying or reducing tariffs on everything from kitchen cabinets and furniture to Italian-made pasta. Melanie Zanona, NBC News, Washington.
DSP revised the timeline for the celebration of life for fallen trooper Matthew Ty Snook.
Here's a live look into Laurel. We're seeing some clouds. It's getting dark and some blue skies. 31, very cold and falling through the 20s as we go through this evening. Make sure you bundle up, and congratulations to our umbrella winner, Jay Tomlinson from Lewis. Congratulations from Paul Davis and Coast TV. A cold weekend on the way, some flurries and sunshine. More on that coming up a little bit later on.
But first, spotting seals on the coast. A way you can learn more about the beautiful animals this weekend. We have your weekend cool things to do after this. The weekend is here, and it is the first one of 2026. Lots happening, cool things to do across Delmarva. Here's a look at some of the activities. Get a good laugh tonight at Milton Theater. The organization is holding a stand-up comedy show at 7:30. On Saturday, Delmarva Birding Weekend is hosting a cruise exploring the Delaware Bay. Organizers say the trip offers chances to see a wide variety of seabirds and waterfowl. And on Sunday, the band Good Stuff performs a tribute show featuring the music of Steely Dan with additional songs by Sting, Stevie Wonder, and Gino Vanilli. The performance takes place at 7:30 at the Milton Theater. And that's not all. Murr is kicking off its inaugural S'more Seals. The fireside chats take place at Grain on the Rocks in Lewis. The first is Saturday, January 3rd at 5:50 p.m. The environmental group, which helps marine life here on the coast, says you can enjoy waterfront views, discounted food and drinks, and learn about our local sea colony from Murr. The event is free and weather permitting. Coast TV News at 5 returns after this.
So far, it certainly has been a cold winter for Delmarva and a cold start to 2026, and today no exception. 35 in Georgetown, 37 in Salisbury, Easton at 36. We had a lot of clouds. We saw some blue skies during the course of the evening hours. Here's a gutter helmet cam right now, calm, as you can see. Old Glory just kind of limp along the flagpole there, and we're seeing some clouds. Now this weekend, we're looking at more clouds Saturday. A system passes to our south tomorrow night, maybe triggering a few flurries. Otherwise, Sunday sunshine and still cold, and then next week we go from cold to mild as we're looking at 50s, I think, by Wednesday, continuing into Friday, and maybe some Friday showers as well. And if we're lucky enough and the skies clear out enough tonight, we're going to see the wolf moon. This is the first full moon and supermoon of 2026. Yeah, the name derived from wolves howling during hunger during the winter. I know sometimes my wife probably thinks I howl a little bit when I get hungry in the wintertime. We're looking at temperatures now. Cold, 29 in Millsboro and Long Neck, 30 in Milton, 30 in Delmar. So make sure you bundle up. Thankfully, we're not dealing with any wind. We've seen a lot of that this winter, as feels like temperatures are pretty much the same as the actual temperatures. As we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, you're seeing some radar returns, a little bit of snow, but it's just way too dry for that. As we are seeing some breaks in the overcast with high pressure. But to the south and west, there's that system across the Tennessee Valley, and that will scoot to our south, maybe nicking us a little bit with some flurry activity. There's some energy in the northern part of the jet stream, but I don't think these systems are going to phase in time for us to see anything in the way of snow. As future casts this evening, we're in and out of the clouds, temperatures falling into the 20s. I think a little colder than these readings, low to mid 20s for some of us by Saturday morning, and then the clouds thicken up, temperatures rising slowly. It's cloudy tomorrow, temperatures only into the low to mid 30s. Then tomorrow night, I think we could see a few flurries. We still have high pressure overhead. You can see by midnight, 2:30 a.m., we're seeing some flurry activity. It's not going to be a big deal. This is not a big system. And then that clears out. Then we're looking at sunshine as we go into your Sunday, but it's going to stay pretty cold. Along the coast Saturday, lots of clouds from Lewis to Dewey Beach, Chincoteague, and Bethany Beach, and highs only into the mid 30s, feeling colder with the wind. The good news is we're looking at a above normal temperatures as we go into next week, I think beginning Wednesday through the end of the week. So above normal. It's been a long time since we've seen red on the long range temperature map. And I think we could be looking at some showers as we go into the end of next week and a better chance of some heavier rain. I think right now it's just liquid precipitation as we go into next weekend. 22 tonight, partly cloudy, quite cold. And then tomorrow, mainly cloudy and cold, a high of only 35. Then that chance of a few flurries into tomorrow night. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Sunshine returns on Sunday, 39, still cold Monday, 40 degrees. And then the warm up, 49 Tuesday, 55 Wednesday, as we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, low to mid 50 Thursday. And then that rain chance by Friday and quite mild with a high of 58.
Across Delmarva, a fundraising opportunity in honor of Delaware State Trooper Corporal Snook. Tomorrow, the Blue Line Network will host a Back the Blue drive-through event for the Snook family. It's happening from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at William B. Keene Elementary School in Newark. Volunteers will place memorial stickers on cars, and all donations will go directly to Corporal Snook's family. Corporal Snook was shot while working overtime at a Wilmington DMV on December 23rd. He leaves behind a wife and a 1-year-old daughter. Delaware State Police are sharing details ahead of the celebration of life for Corporal Snook. That's happening Monday, January 5th at the Bob Carpenter Center in Newark. State Police say the service will be live streamed on DSP YouTube starting around noon. The memorial service is expected to start at 1. Police do ask drivers to expect delays, including a temporary closure of I-95 southbound near the mall for law enforcement convoy. And new tonight, the Wilmington DMV will remain closed through the week of January 5th. That's according to DelDOT. The other 3 locations will remain open: Delaware City, Dover, and Georgetown, operating on their regular schedule. The Wilmington DMV has been closed since the deadly shooting of Corporal Snook. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 8:30, a recap of some of the action from this year's Governor's Challenge. Roman Catholic taking on Wasatch Academy, then catch the final score at 10:30. And it's week 18 of the NFL season. Here's what's coming up Sunday night on football right here on Coast TV. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a big game. Stay tuned. Coast TV News will return right after this. And coming up, the Art League of Ocean City, a way you can give back and have fun tonight. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5. Ocean City's arts community is kicking off the new year with a special First Friday event. It's happening today. The Ocean City Center for the Arts is hosting the 13th annual Shared Visions exhibit. The organization says it features paintings, photography, mixed media works inspired by original poems and short prose, which will then be displayed side by side with art. The exhibit takes place at OC Art League from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Chinese electric vehicle maker BYD has overtaken Tesla as the world's largest seller of EVs. On Thursday, BYD reported it sold 2.26 million EVs in 2025. That's up 28% from the previous year. Meanwhile, on Friday, Tesla reported a second straight year of declining sales. And now here's a live look into Laurel. One more check of the forecast. That's coming up after this break. Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, one of Delaware's fastest growing towns might hit the pause button. Millsboro leaders say growth could be moving a little too fast. That story and more on Coast TV News at 6.
And make sure you bundle up out the door this evening. It's a cold one. At least the winds are calm or very light. But we'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies. Remember, we have that full super wolf moon. Hopefully we can see that overnight. Getting really cold. I think into the mid-20s by tomorrow morning. Remember to call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. The number is 443-880-9100. Just updated it, and you can check it out. And it's sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Only 35 tomorrow, maybe a little bit of light snow flurry activity tomorrow night, not a big deal. Then it's a lot of sunshine as we go into Sunday, 39, 40 on Monday. So it's still cold for the next 3 days and then beginning to warm up close to 50 by Tuesday. Then we're into the low to mid 50s Wednesday and Thursday, then increasing showers, I think, as we head into Friday. Later Friday, this could be some heavier rain as we go into next weekend, but it'll be mild. 56 Saturday, 51 Sunday, lingering showers, and then colder into Monday, partly cloudy and 43.
Bob, I like those temperatures. I don't even care if it rains. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Inside Edition is up next, and we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.